Good morning, students. Here we are in fourth chapter today, that is solid shapes. We will discuss about concept of solid shapes, their kinds, and similarly we will see some physical model of some solid shapes. So beginning with the concept of solid shapes, many objects that we see in our day-to-day life like book, pencil, box, ice cream cone, football, and cylinder are three-dimensional objects. These objects occupy some space and have three dimensions, that is length, breadth, and height, which are known as solid shapes. Yes, students, let's see the meaning of solid shapes in board. Students, here is the meaning of solid shapes. Those objects which occupy some space and have three dimensions, that is length, breadth, and height, are called solid shapes. So students, solid shapes are those objects which occupy some space and have three dimensions, that is length, breadth, and height. विद्यार्थीहरू, त्यस्तो कुनै पनि चिज जसले कुनै पनि ठाउँ लिन्छ र जसको तीनवटा डाइमेन्सन्स हुन्छ, लेन्थ, ब्रेथ र हाइट हुन्छ भने त्यस्तो सेप्सहरूलाई हामी सलिड सेप्स भन्छौँ. सो स्टुडेन्ट्स, here three dimensions refers to length, breadth and height. विद्यार्थीहरू, यहाँ थ्री डाइमेन्सन्स भन्नाले लेन्थ, ब्रेथ र हाइटलाई बुझिन्छ. So students, now let's talk about some name and models of solid shapes. So students, here is the very first solid shape, that is sphere. And its model is this. Yes students, sphere's model is this. Its shape is like this. Now students, let's observe its physical model. And students, now you can guess what will be its physical model. स्पियरको फिजिकल मोडल के हुन्छ भन्ने कुरा अब हामीले भन्न सकिन्छ. स्टुडेन्ट्स, दोज objects which model is like this are considered as sphere. So students, some examples of spheres are orange, football, tennis ball, cricket ball. So students, now let's see the example of sphere. Here I have drawn orange. Here I have drawn football. Orange, football. These all are the example of sphere. So students, here I would like to show you one physical model of sphere, that is tennis ball. So students, you can see here I have got one tennis ball. Tennis ball is also an example of sphere. Now let's move towards next solid shape, which is cylinder. Our next solid shape is cylinder, students. Its model is like this. Now I think you can guess what will be the example of cylinder, students, looking at this image. Some example of cylinder are log, beaker, can, etc. So students, now let's see the example. So students, here I have drawn log. Log means काठ को मुड़ा. Here is can, drink. So students, these are the example of cylinder. Now students, let's see another example of cylinder. I have one solid here, solid shape. So students, this is an example of cylinder students. As you can see, this is exactly cylinder. So students, now let's move towards next. The third solid shape is cone. This is the model of cone. So students, now you can guess what will be an example of cone looking at this image. It may be your ice cream, it may be traffic sign, it may be your birthday caps, etc. So students, now see, let's draw some example of cone. So students, here I have drawn birthday cap, ice cream, birthday cap, ice cream. They are an example of cone students. As you can see, now let me show you one solid shape for cone. So students, here I have drawn one solid shape for cone. So students, your cone exactly look like this. So students, here our fourth solid shape is cube. This is a model of cube. Cube looks like this. Now students, let's draw some figure of. So students, now let's draw some example of cube. Example of cube may be your dice, gift box, cubicle box, etc. So students, here I have drawn two example of cube. One is your dice. So students, this is a Ludo dice as you can see, and another is your gift box. You can see here. So students, dice, gift box, cubicle box, all these are the example of cube. So students, now I would like to show you a cube. Here I have made a cube students. As you can see, this is a cube. Now students, here I have another example of cube, that is a dice. Yes students, you can see I have got a Ludo dice. Ludo dice is also an example of cube. So students, now let's move towards our fifth solid shape, which is cuboid. So students, this is a model of cuboid. Now you can guess an example of cuboid. So example of cuboid may be your microwave, suitcase, your books, your copies, geometry box, etc. students. Now let's draw some example of cuboid. Here I have drawn example of cuboid, students. One is your book and another is your suitcase. As you can see, students, book and suitcase, all these are example of cuboid. So students, here I have drawn a cuboid. As you can see, and students, I have got another example of cuboid which is very common. So students, I have got here eraser. So students, this eraser also is an example of cuboid, students. Eraser, book, your copy, duster, these all are the example of cuboid. So now students, let's move towards next and last solid shape, that is triangular prism. So here is the model of triangular prism, students. Triangular prism looks like this. Now I think you can guess some example of triangular prism looking at this image. So students, triangular roof of the house, you can say tent, you can say nameplate. As you can see a nameplate in your school's office. So students, now let's draw some triangular prism. Students, here I have drawn some example of triangular prism. As you can see, I have drawn nameplate. As I have already told you, nameplate uh, you can see at your school's office too. So, and another is your students triangular roof, nameplate, similarly tent. These all are the examples of triangular prism. Now students, I would like to show you a triangular prism. So students, here is a triangular prism. You can see, students, here is a triangular prism. So students, this much for today. Hope you have understood today's class. Now in the next class, we will be learning about faces, edges and vertices of solid shapes. Till then, take care. Thank you so much.